Yep, they're
Okay,
recording.
the recording is on.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, hi everyone, and welcome to INet NYC Scientist Spotlight series, where we share journeys and insights of international researchers making an impact in the US. INet NYC, which is International Networking in New York City, it supports international STEM scientists across New York metropolitan area, but definitely we are not limited to New York. INet NYC has been around for a decade and serves a simple mission to develop strong international peer network through social and professional development. Today, I am really excited to be joined by Dr. Stephanie DeSouza, currently a lecturer in the Department of Biological Sciences at University at Albany in Albany, New York. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Salmi? Well, thanks for the
Good.
invitation. First.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us and share your journey, challenges, and lessons as an international scientist in the US. Well, to start off, we would love to know you a bit better. So, Stephanie, please tell us a bit about yourself. What inspired you to pursue science?
All right. So, hi everyone. As I was welcome introduced, my name is Stephanie. I do have a PhD in medical and human microbiology, master in microbiology, and a bachelor degree in biomedical science. I am originally from Brazil. I did all my degree over there and moved to the US just in 2022 as a postdoc, and then currently as I'm a lecturer at University of Albany. What inspired me to pursue science? This is like a great question because I feel most of people have a clear answer for that, and I do not. It's a little challenging for me when I see this question because I was never that kid or teenager that like, oh my God, I do want to do that. I do want to do this. Yeah, I usually tell my students when we are introducing each other that when I was kid, my dream was to be secretary. I have like pretty low standards. I think what inspired me into science was because I'm a naturally curious person. Also like very full of ideas. So I think that moved me towards science. Like when I was in high school, I always loved biology. Um, Although it was like, I don't want to be a doctor because at that point it was too much study for me. I was like,
Mhm.
I want to do something with biology because it's cool but I didn't know much what to do. And then I found biomedical science, which it was a place I felt that it was really between those two areas. I do not want to be a biologist, but I also not a med student. So, and then I ended up going to biomedical science to maybe explore more this of my curiosity. But yeah, it's a challenge question because I do not have a clear, so, oh, I like, that's what I want to do. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think this question, the more we discuss and talk to each other about, helps us understand why science, why people choose science. But I love that. And I have known Stephanie for 3 years now, and I know how curious of a person she is. And I have always been happy to work with you, Stephanie.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to ask why US? Like, what brought you to US?
Money. Let's very be honest over here. I think for us international students that come from maybe a country that is like a low middle income country, although Brazil is technically not considered anymore a low middle income country, like for in terms of like when you apply for fellowship or those stuff, like Brazilian people are out. But I feel as a overall country still over there, and yeah, the possibility of like doing more. We know that most of the science it is US based, it is in dollar. So in Brazil, I'm going to be very honest, when I start my postdoc here at U Albany, my initial idea it was to come back to Brazil.
Mhm.
That was my goal. But when I came over here and I saw how much potential and doors I could have, I just realized that, like, yeah, I don't know if I went back to my country where I would have to fight 10 times more to reach like a low level of science sometimes, or even like something like even closer to what I can reach over here to do like a good okay science. I would have to fight like 10 times more in terms of like money, resources, and things like that. And I also saw that is like here in US you were very very well like valued for your skills.
Yeah.
Of course, in any academic career, job career, there are, of course, a level of social interrelationship and almost what I kind of like a politics around the job environment. But if you're good, they're gonna care about that and they're gonna fight
Mm,
to keep you or fight to like to hire you. So that was
I
the
agree.
fact that I was like valued by like I'm good on that and that's gonna be seen.
Right.
So
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Right. Which I completely agree with, Stephanie. And this country is an amazing place to have hone your skills and make connections and also do the best. And it brings out the best that you know about. Yeah. Well, that brings out the best. That kind of brings me to the next question. Well, maybe I don't know if I'm throwing you another challenging question here, but what advice would you be giving to your younger self before you
um,
start this career?
my advice, I think that this answer is going to actually answer a couple of questions I saw. You're going to make it, which was don't be afraid. Do it.
Hmm.
Do it with fear, but do it.
I love
Um,
that.
and it is advice I would give to me, which is like, don't be afraid of go to the places and think that you do not fit over there. Make your space. Just
Wow.
make your space, and then the the world usually reward those people who are bold.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid of that. Um,
Yes.
I it's not that I did not follow that. Um, I follow a lot of my advice right now, but of course I was super fear. But if I have to give an advice to young people that are just starting, that is like the word reward the bold people. So
Hmm.
just don't be afraid to show yourself and do the things even with fear. I literally changed like continents twice in my life and I just did it. I was fear in all of them. You don't know what's going to be, but do it because the reward comes for those people who definitely take the challenge.
Right. Right.
So,
I love that. Yeah. So to all our INET NYC community, just do it. Don't be afraid.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like to I think it's something that my mom told me. My family, it was like you already have the no.
Yeah.
So everything in life is a 50% yes,
Mhm.
50% no, and usually you already have the no.
Right.
Um,
Let's make it a yes.
it is also a little bit about thinking like what would be the worst thing that could happen because you already have a no, so there's nothing
Right.
beyond the no. So
Right.
there's nothing
Yeah.
beyond the no because the no is the limiting pointing. So that is
Hmm.
the worst thing that can happen is you try something and you have a no or you hit your face at the door and that's all. And then you try again and knock another door and you try something different. So
Yeah. You know, mothers and their sayings. That's the best I
yeah,
would say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I said, like you mentioned that don't be afraid, just be bold enough to do what you want to do. And I think um that would be the word of encouragement you would also tell to all our international scientists to, preserve their career paths, right? Just do it.
And just be you. You don't need to
Yeah.
be anything different. Like be you doing the things, like
Hmm.
pursuing the things. You don't need to have a different personality or any of that. It's being you and not being afraid to be you, not being afraid to speak by yourself, not afraid to like take a different path, taking the risk of a different thing. So yeah, that is basically my advice.
Yeah. Well, while following that advice, was there a moment where you literally wanted to give up, but you did not?
I would say that, so a little bit about my history, I guess. So when I finished my PhD, for personal reasons, basically my ex-partner, he was also a scientist in Brazil and he got a postdoc position in Europe. And again, I was not afraid of taking risks, and I say, let's go. So we both moved to Spain, him with a postdoc position. Me was like, well, I'm going to try to find a position over there. And unfortunately or not, and maybe something that is another advice to people, um, it is you have to be resilient in this career and you have to know where you're putting yourself is. Um, Academic career, it is hard. Um, there are a lot of issues inside academia. It's not a perfect job. We have um, a bunch of issues of like bad advising, workload that is way that brings you to like burnouts, a structure that is really unfair mainly for women. There are tons of problems, everyone knows that. So if you are going to the academic career, be aware about that. I am unfortunately something that I like when people come to me, it's like, oh my God, like I didn't know, like I'm so frustrated, all this is going on. Like we know this for like over like what 100 years of academia. So it's like just know where you are going and know what are the issues and be resilient and thinking yourselves like, do I want to face those challenges? Am I ready to face those challenges? Can I overcome those challenges? So I moved to Europe and I started looking for postdoc positions over there. And unfortunately, the academia in Europe is a very niche about people knowing each other.
Okay.
So I applied to over like 40 positions everywhere in Europe, and I didn't get it because everything is about, the people around. It was very frustrating at that point because, for example, for some positions, I ended up knowing who was hired instead of me. And when I went to see the curriculum of that person, the only difference is because that person did a PhD in Europe and has
Mhm.
contacts, and I am just this lonely sheep over here trying to do it. So that point was maybe a point that I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's also the point that turned me to your last question, why the US?
Yeah.
And that's the question, that's what I told you that like I think in the US they value your skill.
Right.
So I applied to 40 positions in Europe and I maybe got like two interviews. I applied to two positions in the US. I was interviewed by the two positions. I was offered the two positions because they did not care that my advisor was someone in, I don't know, France or something, or that I came from Brazil. They valued that the fact I had a certain skills that I gained my
Yeah.
PhD, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
So, but that was the point that I almost gave up. That is like, I don't know what to do. Uh,
Yeah.
so
No,
yeah.
it's hard. I would definitely say it's hard, but thank you for sharing that vulnerable moment that you had in your academic career. But I think that since you have shared that with our community, this would be a great way for other people to know that there's sky's the limit. There's no stopping point. You give
Yeah.
up, you fall, you stand up again, and you move on.
Yeah, and then knowing that it's like sure, sky's the limit, and then the like where you're getting to, and knowing those situations, like mainly for us, that are international. Like, yeah, we know how is I knew how is academia in Brazil,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how was academia outside Brazil, and it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough, but it was a good source for me knowing, oh, okay, in Europe, I guess they value a lot like who you know and your contacts and things like that. There is also a lot of pressure, like about the amount of publications
Mm-hmm.
you have it, and then at some point you have to understand that, like, I came from a PhD in Brazil. Yeah, we do not have funding enough to publish like 3 papers a year, 5 papers a year. So yeah, my CV is different, but look, I have all these skills. But I guess that's not what matters. What in the why in the US he was like, okay, you know how to do this? Sure, you do not have much publications. No problem. You publish with us. So you
Right.
apply your skills over here and you publish with us. So yeah, also knowing how the scenario it is. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that that's lovely. And again, thanks for sharing this. So, Stephanie, I would really like to ask you. Um, I know you mentioned briefly about the opportunities, how people, honor your skills here. But then, could you also talk in a little bit detail about how you felt in terms of research exposure, the diversity, cultural and academic diversity, and networking as an international scientist? Since you have said you moved to Spain as well, so let's compare that and in the US, both for you.
I would say that it was difficult for me comparing to academic Europe because I never entered in academic Europe. But
Yeah.
overall, and if you want to talk about life in Europe, sure, I think there's a way more care about well-being and a really mindset about we work to live, we do not live to work, which is kind of a
Mhm.
little bit more about how is the US overall mentality. Um, but for sure, European countries are way closed in terms of cultural things. Of course, there are
Mhm.
a lot of communities over there, but it is a little difficult more to integrate with locals.
Okay.
Um, I honestly, I don't want to be begging, like just making all this beautiful image about US, but I have to say that at least at U Albany, I felt home since day one.
Yeah.
I did feel homes, although weather is very different from my country, but I would
Let's not
say
even talk
in
about
the
that.
environment, the international office at New Albany is like fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I really felt like home. In the lab with my colleagues. The department had a lot of international people. My lab was very international, but I didn't feel difficult to like integrate with locals or things like that. I think people were way more open to network, to like
Yeah.
let's do something together. If you have ideas and someone has ideas, like yeah, let's work together. So yeah, it has been so far like a very great experience.
Wow. Yeah, I would agree that people here are very open to networking, connections, and working together.
Yeah, if you like,
Yeah.
I think I never like look. I email people like, hey, like I have those ideas. Like I never got like a no, I don't want to do that. Like
Yeah.
they're always open to discuss. So
Right, right. What would you say about the mentorship style since you came here as a postdoc
yeah.
and in terms of you getting the independency to work in your research and the work culture?
Um, I would say that the mentorship it is different here for sure than compared to Brazil where I did my PhD. Um, but it's much more based by the fact that um, in Brazil, when you were a PhD, you were still being a student forever. So kind of like you have a scholarship. So you don't have a salary. Like or you collect like benefits like health insurance or things like that. You were actually like student and you have like a scholarship. So I do think the mentor style, it is very different because of that. So I feel in Brazil, there's a way more one-on-one because you were still seen as a student,
Right.
where over here you are more independent. I think even when you were in a PhD here, like you were
Mm-hmm.
way more independent. I did have research independence when I was a PhD, and I have a mentor that, although she was close there to me, she gave me freedom to explore a bit what I want. Um, which I like it. I do feel when you were a PhD, when you're in this part of your career, you do need someone to direct you. I'm not saying someone to tell what you're going to do or not going to do, because the idea is that you create this independence,
Mm-hmm.
but someone who is going to be here to like discuss like avenues for
Right.
where you want to go. And I feel sometimes here in the US, um, it is very like, okay, welcome to the PhD. I hope you become a doctor at the end.
Yeah,
So, I
I agree.
hope you become a doctor at the end. So not all mentors, okay, but there is more this style. Uh, I would say that if I did a PhD in Brazil, I think based on the way I am as a person, like
Mhm.
which I'm a little more fearless and then do it, I would still thrive. Um,
Yeah.
but I definitely see the kind of like bad side of this, that if you were a
Mhm.
person that need a little more of someone to like that guidance, depending where you fall, that might be a struggle.
Mhm.
So
How would you say then that like given now you are a lecturer, you have been there as a PhD student, postdoc, and now taking a class of 300, 400 undergrad students right now, how do you try to maintain that balance, that we talk about? Let's
that is
talk
the
about
joke.
that. Okay.
So for the INet members, I do not maintain.
That's Dr. Stephanie D'Souza, guys.
That's Dr. Stephanie Susan. So I do not want to. I'm trying to see if this doesn't happen, but we're towards the end of semester. I don't know when you guys are going to be watching this, but it's April. So we are 1 month ahead of like end of semester, and I'm having like those twitching in my eyes, probably because of
Oh, no.
stress. So there's no balance. I'm sorry if I have to bring this bad news for all of you, but
No, I love that honest answer, I
um,
love that.
yeah, I don't want to lie and say like, oh yeah, I keep this balance. It's like I try to survive. So yeah, I try to survive this.
Or would you like say that it's a work-life integration, probably there will be days when you work your super best, giving your best, and there are days that you're a little bit relaxed because you worked.
Okay, I'm not gonna make this scenario so bad. I think over time in academic career, um, you learned that like, all right, today this is the best that I can do it. Um, and I have to say that for me personally, it took me a while to learn that, because I think this is probably a sentiment that most of international people have, because it is like, yeah, I need to be the best of the best, right?
Mm.
I'm already in that disadvantage that I am not American, um, so I think all of us has this intrinsic sentiment that I do need to be the best of the best. Um, so it took me a while to, yeah, not accomplish my to-do list of the day and do not feel guilty for that.
Mm-hmm.
And just say like, you know what? I do tomorrow. Uh, yeah, mainly when you become a professor, like in my first semester, I was definitely burned out. So I would say that is like, yeah, now I'm more like, okay, so if I do not reply to this student right now, no one else is going to die. So
Yeah,
that's I internalized this knowledge for me, which is like, if you don't do, no one else is going to die. So you can do tomorrow. I mean, I'm
right,
not a physician saving people's life. That sure I have to do this right now. So if I do not reply this email, if I do not
mhm,
accomplish this task right now, tomorrow the sun is gonna rise. The people is gonna
right,
live their lives, and you can accomplish your thing. So
right. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I think it takes time as you proceed with your work, with your life, you realize. But Stephanie, like you said, the semester one as a professor, it was tough. And guys, I was there working with Stephanie and helping her
that's true.
out in her the subject she was taking and teaching undergrad students. And I have seen her. She worked literally 24/7 and still, you know, uh, students being students, they made her life crazy. But I have seen her giving her 1,000%. I have seen her coming in the morning with a like sleepless night and still, with that full enthusiasm, full motivation, taking the class, helping us out, helping all the students out. She's an awesome scientist.
That I appreciate. Thank you. Yeah, I maybe the way I keep my work life balance is making it's just like making fun and jokes.
Yeah.
I make jokes about my own situation. Maybe that's the way I go through. So
And on that note, I would just want to add here that Stephanie, she's amazing with students. I have seen her. So our university have a biology page, and I have seen a lot of students from her class making a lot of videos about microbiology of her classes and everything, which is so fun because I think that's a really nice way to be interactive, get yourself going, even when you have bad days, or even when students have bad days. So, which is very nice. I enjoy those videos, Stephanie, a lot.
nice. Yeah, there's my first semester. It was nice to see that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of struggles that's we have talked about. Let's talk about a little bit of motivation. What is one daily habit or a ritual you would say that you wake up and you are super excited to do that?
Believe or not, to work.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
I do love what I do, and even being exhausted and tired, these still being the things that motivates me is like
Yeah.
seeing a student come in and say like, oh my God, I really enjoy your class.
Yeah.
Or my God, you were so inspiration. Or the like when you're a student, maybe undergrad, like you see your professor almost in this pedestal, and many professors also put themselves in this pedestal that they are unreachable. And one of the things I always tell my students since day one is like, I am just a very normal human being as all of you. I just like studied more. And that's the reason I am here, but I do have my own fears. So I think that also takes out this boundary between me and them. Um, so it is rewardable and makes me want to wake up knowing that my students trust me enough to maybe come to my office and tell something about their lives and ask for advice. um, but I would say that let's not talk about work. I would say right now one thing that really helped maintain my work-life balance,
Yeah.
it is doing spinning. uh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it took me a while to like trying to find like an activity that would keep me motivated because I am so much things to do that sure it's pretty easy for me to say, you know what, I'm not doing anything today, not
Mhm.
exercising, I'm not doing that. But since like January, I started doing spinning classes, and this has been like my moment of like disconnect. So I do spinning 3 times a week, and I always
Oh,
look forward for that. That's the moment that I like. It's just me, that blast music loud and not
Yeah.
thinking anything, just on my RPMs on the bike and my heart rate. So yeah, that's I wish I could like develop, like I really want to develop the habit to reading more than reading
Mhm.
science, like reading books.
Yeah.
Still struggling. But I would like to do that. And I just figured out over time that like I like to wake up earlier than my first thing to do, to have a couple of minutes just like me and my thoughts and a coffee.
Oh, yes.
Um,
I would definitely, love to integrate that as well in my routine. But I'm so glad you
yeah,
can do that.
I know. I mean, I was just like, so like I usually wake up like 6 a.m. So just like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
just wake up like few minutes early, making my coffee, and maybe just sit down in the silence of my couch. Sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm scrolling down social media and like brain rotting a little bit. But it's this moment, just like me and silent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Before you get to work and your heart rate is increased by the classes, by the work, let's increase the heart rate by either going
exactly,
to Spain or
exactly.
having caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. Well, do you then say that going or developing a daily habit that you really look forward to helps you stay consistent and handle burnouts?
A daily habit or rituals? I would say that this is think about waking up earlier, but like I am a very organized person. I do have like planners.
Yeah.
So I do need to have that, or I don't know
Yeah.
how to proceed. So I usually take like my Sunday to figure out what I need to do next week. So this definitely helps. Uh, Try to keep the work-life balance, but at least not
Yeah.
like burnout for sure. Um, but yeah, I think it was embracing this thing. Yeah, it's okay if I did not accomplish my to-do list. I would say
Hmm.
that if I have like advice for people, it is, which is an advice that I'm also embracing.
Yeah.
Um, it's crucial that we learn like time management, uh,
Okay. Yeah.
but not in a sense that is like, um, yeah, we all know that well, if you have a meeting or something, you need to follow that. But like, as professionals, like as students, we learn that as time management. Oh my God, all my classes and like, I need to study that. But in academic setting is a little different. And maybe when you become a professor, on my first semester, part of my burnout is because I really underestimate the amount of time I take to do certain stuff.
Hmm.
And I am a person that I am very perfectionist, um, which I do. So you need to know yourself. So
Yeah.
I know I am a very perfectionist, and I know it is. People think, no, yeah, you just need to like reply an email for a student. Like this take like 5 minutes. Depends. So you need, depending what it is, the email, you need to open a couple of things, analyzing a couple of scenarios, and then reply to that student. Or, for example, I really overestimate how much time I take to prepare a PowerPoint for my classes. I thought,
Hmm.
that, yeah, in one day I can make like two, three lectures. I sometimes spend 8 hours doing one lecture.
Yeah.
So I think it is a little bit of learning how much time you take to do things and then start organizing your week. Because sometimes we put
Hmm.
ourselves an infinite to-do list that we know we're not going to accomplish. So these just create this overall sense of frustration. Oh my God, I'm feeling so behind. But if you know how much you can accomplish, you're going to make a to-do list that is smart, that you know you're going to finish
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and you're not going to leave with this sense of failure.
Hmm.
Um, so I started being more organized in terms of like, okay, what are my top priorities of the week? It's just like things that I have to do. I do not have any other option unless I do that. And then, okay,
Hmm.
these are other things in my life that I do need to do in this week. And then it's trying to organize the things over the days. So.
So that's a really, really great advice to first have a planner, which sometimes people think is not important, but I really believe it. You could have a diary, a simple pen and paper in your bag, in your pocket, or the best is having your mobile phones, right? Just write everything down that you have. And second is to set realistic accomplishments. Either
Yeah.
it could be weekly, monthly, and
Yeah.
not overwhelm or burden yourself
Yeah.
with unrealistic goals.
Yeah, you're not going to put in your weekly goals. It's like I'm going to write a chapter of my thesis. This is
Mhm.
not going to happen, and you're going to be very frustrated at the end of your week.
Right.
So it might be something about, okay, I'm going to write 2 pages of my chapter. So this is a more,
Mhm.
or like I'm going to write all of this in one day. You're not. So let's trying to set up like expectations. So it's like, yeah, in the beginning, I was like, oh, yeah. So my plan for this week, I'm going to finish all my lectures until spring break. And then, like, in
Yeah.
one day, I did one lecture. So, and then
Yeah.
I was frustrated because I was behind. So,
Mhm.
no, yeah, you start learning, okay, take a couple of time to do my lectures. So it's like, that's the maximum we can accomplish, like, in a week.
Right.
So,
No. Thanks, Stephanie, for sharing such a practical advice, which is very important. And I'm glad that you're being so honest about your experiences, your vulnerable moments, and your advices. That's what we as international scientists community need from each other. Thank you. Well, I think we have talked a lot about your struggles, motivation, challenges, your daily habits. I really want to, I think this would be the really third challenging question that I'm throwing at you. Describe your life in one word. Okay, 2 words maximum. Stephanie, that's the cap for you.
I failed it though. I've described my life in one, my life
Or
now. Sorry,
two
maybe I didn't
words.
understand the question.
Anything that you want to say, like your life as a lecturer, or if you're getting something better, your life as a postdoc, that was, you can say that.
One word to is describing like my journey overall, right?
Journey overall, or whatever you're comfortable with, your journey overall, your life right now as a lecturer overall. One or maximum 2 words is the
Passion,
limit. And
passion,
wow. Okay,
passion.
that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, uh, definitely passion. I'm always very passionate about everything I decide to do, and I know I'm not sure if this is the best advice, but I yeah, money is very important, and maybe that's the reason I came, as we discussed since the beginning. But at the end of the day, it is passion, and you have to find that and pursuing that. Um, I would never be in a work or in a career that I could be rich as
Yeah.
much, loaded in money right now, but empty.
Hmm. I
I
get
would
you. Yeah.
never put myself into that. Um, I would, in the beautiful world, you would find a job that is both passion and money. Very hard to find, um, almost impossible to find. But I would say passion is the description of my journey because it was not about the money for sure. So
Yeah. No, that's lovely. I really like that. You have to have the passion to do, I think, everything you do in the coming minute,
yeah,
probably.
because I mean, well, like unless you are like a very fortunate family that you do not need to work, the reality for all of us is that you're gonna work our entire
Mhm.
life for many, many years, and you do need to strive for finding a work that it is at least motivating you to like wake you up every day and not like
Yeah.
suck your soul and mind just
Yeah.
because it's money. So.
Hmm.
Uh, Yeah, that's the reason
We
I say
all
like
should.
what maintain you, what makes you wake up every day? Yeah, my job. And although
Hmm.
we're talking about work life, my job because I really like what I do. And that's the reason I keep doing. So I can't be in a work that I go there. It's like, okay, I hate this, and but here is my paycheck at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Hmm.
So so
Yeah.
yeah,
Our scientist community, we have to have a spark that
yeah,
keeps us motivated. What we
yeah,
want to do in the next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, and for the next of your life.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, Stephanie, well, I have working with you, I've never seen you have coffee or tea. That is some question that I have always wanted to ask you. Now is the time. Coffee, tea, or something else that you really like to have.
Coca-Cola.
Well, I have not ever seen you having that as well.
Well, because I think you saw me having Pepsi in our pizza parties.
Oh,
No, I
yes.
do drink coffee. I very dependable of caffeine thing, but I don't see coffee as this pleasure that most of people see. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the smell, but I'm not like, oh, the taste and all of that. I
Yeah.
actually drink coffee with zero sugar because I just want that feeling in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I do enjoy drinking, then there's nothing more rewardable than you arrive at home after a long day at work and you open a very, very cold can of Coca-Cola and sip that is like it's life pleasure. So I try to not drink much. So
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, that is nice. That's nice. I think, guys, I'm learning something new about Stephanie here that no, not so much of tea, not so much of coffee, but it's Coca-Cola. I know when we're meeting next in person, Stephanie, I know what to bring for you.
Diet
Yeah.
Coke because I'm on
Diet
diet.
Coke? Okay. Noted. Noted. Well, on that note, guys, I really wanted to say when I was working with Stephanie, he's such an amazing person. I think every semester end, we used to have a lot of goodies. We used to have a big pizza party with, of course, Coke, Pepsi. And then we just used to just so much chit chat and have a really amazing time there after such a stressful semester. Guys, I would really want that if you guys can just meet Stephanie, get in touch with her, network with her to get some free pizzas. And now Coke, Diet Coke, Pepsi, or whatever you want, and also
Yep.
some goodies.
Yep, yep, yeah. Bring me a French fries, and a burger, and a Diet Coke, and I'll be very happy. So,
I love that. Um, Talking about food, Stephanie, place in New York or maybe in Albany or New York City that which you have been and you would love to go there again and again and again.
I do love New York City, and I do not get tired of going to MoMA. Um,
Ah,
I really love MoMA. I do like art, and most of the famous like um, paintings are there. So I do really love MoMA. I went there already twice. My favorite painting, which is the Starry Night, it is there from Van Gogh. And I would say that any Italian restaurant in New York City or in Albany, it is my favorite place. So
guys, you know where to find Stephanie.
yeah, you can find me in any Italian restaurant there. But I would say in New York City, there's also a very good Brazilian restaurant. So every time I go New York City, I go to this Brazilian restaurant, the way to be like closer to home. The name of the restaurant is like berimbau, which is a instrument, musical instrument in Portuguese. Um,
Oh,
so I always go to this Brazilian restaurant when I go to New York City.
interesting. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing the name of the restaurant. I hope our community, if anybody's interesting or is a foodie, you guys should definitely go and check that spot out.
Yeah.
And get back to Stephanie with how you felt after being there.
Okay, in the Brazilian restaurant,
Yeah. I mean,
happy, very
yeah.
happy. There, it is like I always felt there like I actually recently been in New York City. So during spring break, I went to New York City because I was going to a concert.
Mhm.
Um, so I arrived over there. I went to the Brazilian restaurant. Then I back to my hotel and went to the concert. And I was in a state that is like, sure, the world can just like gone right now. I am fine. I'm very happy.
I
So
love
there
that. I
is
love that.
nothing that is gonna make me like sad right now.
Yeah. Um, Talking about sad, Stephanie, do you like lab work more or are you used to like lab work more or data analysis?
Data analysis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I in research, I would say that like I do like the lab work. Um, if you are working in hospital or like mainly
Mhm.
my field microbiology. So if you're working with diagnostic, their lab work is fun.
Yeah.
But in the science, like overall, I do prefer that data analysis. I think this is where my curiosity is like I start seeing patterns
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I have another idea. Believe it or not, when I was postdoc, I loved creating R graphs. I spent like hours
Oh,
changing the colors of my graphs and like creating beautiful images. That was like I love it doing that.
oh,
So
wow. So Stephanie has a creative side as well.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice. That's cool. That's very interesting.
yeah.
I know you said in the beginning, Stephanie, that you are bringing reading as a habit, but then
Hmm.
any recent book that you have finished or you're reading right now that you would like to tell our scientists?
Um, I would say they're like one of the books that like I read and then it really like stuck into me. I now I'm gonna search the name of the book
Oh,
because it's
yeah,
a long
sure.
name and I just want
Mm-hmm.
like but it's not a romance. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to me like read romance.
Can see a lot of books that talks about the cell microbiology. I'm sure Stephanie is
Yeah,
not
those
searching for
are
those.
uh, what is the name? Oh, okay, found it. So the name of the book is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone from Laurie Gottlieb. I read this book like years ago. So Laurie is a therapist, and the book is about a couple of histories of her with her patients. So it is a book about a little bit about like therapy and um, doing therapy, and it is a really good book. I remember I never marked down a book so much. So
So, could you repeat the name of the book again for our
maybe you
viewers?
should talk to someone.
Maybe you should talk to someone. Guys, if you get a chance, do read that book. It's highly recommended by Stephanie. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a New York seller bestseller. So it's not only me. So New York Times also
interesting.
recommend it. It's a little old book, so not a new book. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, it has been a really incredible, insightful experience that you have shared, Stephanie, so far. So, one final suggestion, an advice, or an experience that you would, if you want to share with our researcher community of the INet.
I think I'm gonna finish this with the advice that my PhD advisor gave to me.
Mhm.
Um, those who are not seen are not remembered. So
Yes.
uh, make yourself visible. And as I said, the word usually reward those people, and usually people remind about you. So I think for be successful in this career, you need to be visible. You can't be invisible because it is about like networking and knowing each other. And you never know, but maybe the little interaction that you have here, or the fact that you are contacting this person, you are showing up for this little thing, you never know that in the future this is like might be someone who's going to open your door for something. um,
Mm.
so yeah, though she always told me that those who are not seen are not remembered. um, so make yourself visible.
That is amazing. That's really fantastic. That is true. You have to make yourself visible in order to be seen by others. That is amazing. Yeah. So, guys, be bold. Don't be afraid to do things. Be visible. Have a spark. Be motivated. Have the resilience. And there were so many other things that were shared by Dr. Stephanie D'Souza today. And I really, really hope this would have made a small impact to somebody who is dreaming of achieving something big. And I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Stephanie, for sharing your journey with us, your advices, to all our science community. And before we wrap up, I would really say to everybody listening here, viewing this podcast, Stephanie is an amazing person. And I have had the pleasure of working with her for almost, well, I knew her for 3 years, and I've had the pleasure of working with her for almost 1.5 years.
1 year, I
And
guess.
1 year, yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, it was
And
two
then,
semesters we were together. So
yeah. And then it was an incredible learning that I learned from her. Seeing her struggle, survive, and make it is, I think, as an upcoming budding researcher myself, I would really learn this thing from her and take from her. And amazing, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us again. And to everybody watching, stay connected with INet NYC to get inspired, expand your network, discover more stories like. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for taking your wonderful time out today. And it's lovely to have you and work with you as always.
well, thank you so much for the invitation. I hope that you guys enjoy. Don't be like, oh my God, I was very honest as much as I could. I know sometimes the truth is a little painful, but I'm here to share what I passed through, and that makes me true here. And I just hope everyone's achieve whatever you guys are dreaming. And actually, having communities as that, it is so important and so nice to see those initiatives. This makes a lot of difference in your academic experience.
True, true. Thanks so much, Stephanie, again. And have a wonderful day ahead. And you would stay connected. And I'm going to see you soon.
See ya.
Bye, Stephanie. Thank you.
Bye.